Lời đầu tiên xin chào các độc giả đã đến với website rèn luyện kỹ năng.com. Khi tìm đến với website rèn luyện kỹ năng, chắc hẳn bạn đang mong muốn tìm cho mình một công cụ tốt nhất trong quá trình rèn luyện kỹ năng. Kỹ năng ở đây có thể là kỹ năng lãnh đạo, kỹ năng bán hàng, kỹ năng mềm, kỹ năng sống và rất nhiều các kỹ năng khác. Thông thường khi nghĩ đến việc rèn luyện các kỹ năng như chúng tôi đã đề cập ở trên, chúng ta thường hay nghĩ đến việc tìm mua cái đầu sách hoặc tham gia các chương trình hội thảo. Nhưng trong cuộc sống bận rộn của thế kỷ 21, thời gian và tiền bạc là hai thứ luôn bị giới hạn nhiều nhất. Với sự ra đời của website rèn luyện kỹ năng.com, chúng tôi mang đến cho bạn một công cụ tốt hơn trong việc rèn luyện kỹ năng của mình, đó chính là các DVD rèn luyện kỹ năng. Bạn sẽ không còn phải tốn quá nhiều thời gian để đọc sách hay tốn quá nhiều tài chính để tham gia các chương trình hội thảo. Chỉ cần bỏ DVD vào đầu máy, ngay lập tức bạn đã có thể tận hưởng những thước phim quý giá được chia sẻ từ các diễn giả nổi tiếng tại Việt Nam và trên thế giới. Website rèn luyện kỹ năng.com cung cấp đầy đủ cho bạn các DVD rèn luyện kỹ năng trên nhiều lĩnh vực. Tất cả các DVD rèn luyện kỹ năng của các diễn giả nước ngoài có tại website rèn luyện kỹ năng.com đều có phụ đề 100%, hỗ trợ tối đa cho quý độc giả khi theo dõi. Rèn luyện kỹ năng.com cam kết chất lượng tất cả các DVD khi cung cấp cho quý khách hàng. Với hân hạnh được phục vụ cho rất nhiều các khách hàng trên cả nước. Chỉ cần click đặt hàng, trong vòng 1 đến 3 ngày, bạn đã có thể cầm sản phẩm trong tay. Rèn luyện kỹ năng hân hạnh được phục vụ quý khách.
Thank you. So how many of you would like to have a lot more money in your lives? No, I said a lot more money in your lives. And how many to have a lot more happiness in your lives? And how many can stand a heck of a lot more of both in your lives? You've come to the right place. My name is harv eker. Welcome to the Millionaire Mind, the secret psychology of wealth. The first thing I want to do is I want to acknowledge you for being here. There's a saying that says 80% of success is just what? Who can tell me? Showing up. So since I can't reach you all, I need you to do me a little favor. Simply reach around, pat both your neighbors on the back and go, congratulations for being here. It takes a lot of courage to really have a look at your life sometimes and admit what's going on. And most of us, well, we're not the best admitters, are we? Kind of reminds you of this story about this lion who's walking along the path of the jungle. And he comes across a monkey, and he goes, hey, monkey, who's the king of the jungle? And the monkey goes, you are, sir, you are. He goes, that's right, and don't you ever forget it. Keeps walking along the path, and he comes across a snake. And he goes, hey, snake, who's the king of the jungle? The snake goes, you are, sir, you are. He goes, that's right, and don't you ever forget it. Keeps walking along the path, comes across a great big elephant. He goes, hey, elephant, who's the king of the jungle? The elephant just keeps walking. He goes, hey, elephant, who's the king of the jungle? The elephant just ignores him. The lion gets really mad, swipes the elephant on the butt, draws blood. The elephant gets angry, picks up the lion with his trunk, throws him around, fires him on the ground, stomps on his head, picks him up, throws him around, fires him on the ground, stomps on his head, picks him up, throws him against a tree, and the battered and bloody lion just lies there and says, hey, you don't have to get mad just because you don't know the right answer. Hey, you might as well laugh now because it don't get any better, okay? Anytime I do any training, I have 2 rules. How many rules? 2. How many rules? 2. Thank you. The first rule is really important. It says this: don't believe a word I say. Now, in all sincerity, why would I suggest that? That's right. Whose experience can I come from? Thank you. Just my experience. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it wrong. It doesn't make it true. And it doesn't make it false. It just makes it my experience. All I can let you know, however, is that the information and principles you're about to learn here tonight totally transformed my life and has now transformed the lives of literally thousands and thousands and thousands of other people. Is it okay if I tell you just a little bit about myself? Thank you. I guess my claim to fame is that I owned at least a dozen different businesses before I hit the age of 30, including one of those businesses was opening one of the first retail fitness stores in all of North America. Now, the interesting thing about that company is that I started that business with $2,000 that I borrowed on my Visa card. And from there, I was able to open 10 company-owned locations in only 2.5 years, and then sold half my company shares to a Fortune 500 company for $1.6 million. How many wouldn't mind starting with a $2,000 credit card loan and having $1.5 million in your pocket a couple years after that? Excellent. After that, I kind of semi-retired. I moved down to San Diego, and I began doing some consulting, some one-on-one consulting. And I guess it was pretty effective for people because they started bringing friends and relatives and managers and partners, and pretty soon it was 1-on-2 and 1-on-5 and 1-on-10 and 1-on-20. And someone suggested, Harv, you might as well open up a school already. And I said, you know what? That is such a good idea. And I did. And I founded the Street Smart Business School and taught thousands of people all across North America street smart business strategies for high-speed success. What kind of success, please? Thank you. And it was during these seminars that I noticed something. I noticed something very, 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 very strange. Would you like to know what it was? Well, maybe I'll tell you next time, but what it was simply this, that you can actually have two people sitting side by side in exactly the same room. And one person would take these principles and they would skyrocket to success. But what do you think would happen to the person maybe sitting right beside them? Not a heck of a lot. And I realized right there, you can actually have the greatest tools in the world, but if you have just a tiny leak in the toolbox, we have a little problem. So I began designing programs based on the inner game. What game? Thank you. The inner game of money and success. And when we blended and combined the inner game with the outer strategies, with the outer tools, virtually everybody's results went through the roof. Does that make sense, y'all? A good example of what I'm talking about with this inner game is, how many of you notice the phenomenon that when a millionaire loses their money, they generally have it back a very short time later? True? A good example of that is, have you heard of this fellow by the name of Donald Trump? Here's this multi-billionaire who loses everything and more, and 2 years later, he's got it all back again and more. Why does this phenomenon happen? It happens because even though these people might have lost their money, they never lost their most important ingredient to their success, which was their what? Their millionaire? In Donald's case, it is what? His billionaire mind. Do you realize that Donald Trump could never, quote unquote, just be a millionaire? Let me ask you your opinion. Are you willing? How do you think that Donald Trump would feel if his net worth was $1 million? Yeah, he'd feel poor. He'd feel broke, right? Now, listen, this is the most important thing you could ever learn. That's because Donald Trump's financial thermostat, his what? Is set for, everybody pick your finger up right here. Fingers up. Make a B with me. Billions, not millions. Most people's financial thermostat is set for, fingers up, thousands, not millions. Some people's financial thermostat is set for, fingers up, hundreds, not even thousands. And some people's financial thermostat is set for, thumbs up, below zero. They're freezing and they don't know why. Which brings us to the psychology of wealth. It's very important to realize that we live in a world of duality. A world of what? Thank you. Help me out here. In and out. Give me some examples. Black and white, hot and cold, back and forth, left and right, up and down. Excellent. Excellent. Take right and left. Is it possible to have a left side without a right side? Left of what? You see, they're a comparison. So just as there are outer laws to money, therefore there must be what? Excellent. You know, the fact is that most people do not reach their full potential. Most people are not successful. 80% of individuals will never become financially free in the way they would like to be financially free. And 80% of individuals will never claim to be truly, truly happy. And there's a reason. Would you like to know the reason? The reason is very simple. That most people are a little on the unconscious side. They live only on a very superficial level of life, only based in the visible world, only based in what they can see. Now, a good example I'm talking about here is we're going to call this the tree of life. Tree of what? Life. Excellent. And on this tree grows what? Fir. Who said fir? Fruits. What's the word? Fruits. So we take a look at the fruits of our life, which are our results, right? And we don't like them. They're too small. They don't taste good. There's not enough of them, right? Well, what do we tend to do? Don't we tend to focus more and more of our energy and focus on those fruits, on those results? Yes? Except for one thing that we forgot. What is it that created those particular fruits? It's what? It's those roots that create those fruits. It's what's under the ground that creates what's above the ground. It's what's invisible that creates what's visible. True or true? Is that sometimes or all the time? Let me ask you a question. Is this the way it is in nature or not? Are you a part of nature? Then it may be the case that it might be the same with us, yes? All right, very good. So, the most important thing that I think people need to realize that they just don't seem to get taught anywhere is that we don't live in only one realm alone. We live in at least 4 different worlds at once. We live in the mental world. What world? We live in the emotional world. What world? We live in the spiritual world. What world? And absolutely we live in the physical material world. And what most people never get is that your physical material world, your results, what actually happens to you is nothing more than a printout of the other 3 areas. These are the fruits, but these are the roots